What's going on, YouTube? Today we are cooking with Podbert. Today we are going to be making one of my favorite snacks. I've never tried it, but one of my favorite snacks. It's called the Gu Zillionaire Cheesecake dessert with caramel, and it's great. It's great. We're gonna try to do this one kind of quickly, but just so y'all know, these are the ingredients. We've got sandy shortbreads. We've also got Loran Dune shortbreads. We're just going crazy with shortbreads here today, guys. I mean, I really couldn't pick, so I'm gonna use both packs, all the packs in the sauce. No, we're not. Thank you, Vera, by the way, for helping me with that. Oh, and while we're here taking a little break, getting set up, just wanted to introduce my new line of kitchenware. You know, it's fun, funky, it's fresh, it's affordable, and it goes really for all seasons. I mean, some people see this as more of a Valentine's Day discount sort of deal from Walmart, but this actually goes with your autumn clothing. This goes with winter. This goes with summer. I mean, you could even wear this to a wedding or a funeral, whatever the occasion is. So left a link in the description below as well. So please do go check these out. Even if you don't like it, just give it a share. Maybe some of your friends will like it. We've also got some Belgian waffle butter crisps. Crisps, not to be confused with chips. Which are also not to be confused with French fries, interestingly. Work for a cross-cultural audience. So, oh, and guys, before we get too carried away with this video, please do remember to rate, comment, and subscribe if you like the content that you see. It's those upvotes that keep me coming back and, you know, keep me at least eating enough to get through the day. So moving on, we got some Philadelphia cream cheese. Not to be confused with cream frige. No, ma'am. I was corrected for that earlier. We've got some butter, run-of-the-mill butter. You just take some butter. We've got, now this is a special ingredient. This actually, I had to special order this in. The guy, I've left a link to his YouTube and his eBay down below. Guy that sent me this really came through. I mean, this is, we're talking about came in 2-day shipping from Texas. This is very rare. You won't find this in stores. It's called mascarpone fresca. It's pretty cool. So got some heavy cream, which is not like British cream. I don't know how to find British cream here. I don't think we have it. We have got something that is supposed to be like golden syrup. I think I'm getting that right. But yeah, this is actually one of my favorite brands as well. Love these guys. You know, you'll hear me talking about them all the time. So yeah, so this is gonna go also in the dish. Yep. And the Gu Zillionaire Cheesecake salted caramel dessert. And oh no, those are my special ingredients. I can't show you those right now. We've also got some dark chocolate, right? Another special ingredient. And we've got some salted caramel, of course, not to be confused with salted caramel chips. Also didn't know that until today. You know, I am, even though I'm, you know, an expert in culinary arts and a well-trained, well-recognized chef, you know, I still to this day, that's the great thing about art. Still to this day, I'm learning new things about my craft, about my work, and it's why it feels so rewarding to me to do cooking like this. It's good. Yeah, so these are some other secret ingredients. Can't show you. And let's get to cooking. Okay, guys, so now that we're back, please do try and remember, and I know I stress this a lot in my videos, but if you could, do try to remember that the second most important step in cooking, outside of heating them up, is actually perfectly measuring out every single ingredient you're going to use before you use it, just so you can do it efficiently. This is one of the tricks of the trade from people who've been in it for a long time. Take it from me, you don't want to skip this step. A lot of people will say, that's not how people really cook, or I just do it as I go. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Measure everything out beforehand so you can do it almost like you're doing some sort of a puzzle. Do you see what I'm saying? We're going to use my trusty dusty scale once I get this up and running to make sure we got the exact measurements. We'll be right back. Cooking tip. All right. Now, this is another one of our little trade secrets we're going to do today. So today, we have a very, very special opportunity to show you something that we in the industry try to kind of keep secret so that people can't really catch up to us. These are tricks of the trade that an artist needs to learn. So now, when it comes to softening cream cheese and softening mascarpone for projects and cheesecakes and stuff like that, we have one little trick. Now, you probably always wondered, why do I have to let it sit out for so long before it softens up? Because it's hard to blend it when you don't let it sit for a little bit. So here is a little trick that I'll show you guys. Now, take a look at this. You put it on a cup, on a plate, and just let it kind of melt there. Isn't that great? Look at that. Oh yeah, and thanks to ABC Hardwood for this wonderful floor they put in for us just for this show. So yeah, you kind of let it sit here, and then you see that heater? It's perfect. It gets it right to the right temperature after about 20 minutes to 1 hour and 20 minutes. I'd also like to take the time to present my co-chef. They don't usually get a lot of airtime because I'm the celebrity chef here, but we really owe our operations here to the people who work behind the scenes to do some of the prep. She's been working on the cream cheese and the mascarpone. You guys saw that tip earlier, so yeah. She says thank you. Get there. There you go. Yes. Alright guys, so as I said, any chef worth his salt will weigh very accurately their ingredients before they start. I know this is kind of a shock to some of y'all out there, but just bear with me, I promise. I promise it'll pay off in the end. So we're going to weigh out all of our ingredients. Now don't forget to tare this. You got to hit the tare button. Okay, so our recipe calls for 100 grams of shortbread. Today we're using, like I said, this sandy shortbread, sandy classic shortbread. Really important you go for the classic shortbread. You don't want any modern or neo-modern shortbread. It just doesn't really go with the recipe. So let's see. Just like we had the bowl for the shortbread, we're going to get the butter on a dish just to make sure that it doesn't melt all over the scale. There we go. Alright, let's see how much this whole stick weighs. It's about 83 grams. That's a little too much for us, so let's cut this in half and see how we're doing after that. Now, for this, I'm going to use a butter knife. You guys are more than welcome to use a steak knife, a butcher knife, a filleting knife, anything that you really want. I definitely recommend to go for the butter knife myself. But yeah, we won't get caught up in the details, I know. So here's some butter. We're cutting that in half, just about. There we go. Let's see how much we got now. 40 on the dot. Look at that. First cut. First cut. When you know, you know. You know, guys, when you've been doing this as long as I have, not a problem. There we go. All right. So butter off to the side for a minute. And aha, yeah, this is right. So, a little bit of an interesting mix here. The United States, we don't actually have anything called golden syrup, which this recipe calls for, based on based on my time in this industry and based on some market research I performed over the last couple weeks. It appears the best way to imitate golden syrup is either, some people say molasses, some people say honey. So we're going to go ahead and do both. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of molasses and 4 of honey. So let's get our tablespoon measurer out. So you see, this is 1 tablespoon. See that? Okay. So, and we're going to go ahead and just put this right in to our cream cheese and our... Wait, this is supposed to be treacle. But same thing, you know? Same thing. So... Okay, so 2.5 tablespoons of molasses, and now let's get our honey. So today we're actually using Golding Farms honey. It's not golden honey, but it's got the Golding in the name, so it's as close to golden honey as you can get. And that's how you can tell, because it'll be from Golding Farms or something else named Gold. If there's a brand called California Gold Rush honey, that's probably your second best option. I'm not saying that option exists, because it probably doesn't, but if it does exist, it's a good second option. There we go. There's one. Now this stuff also kind of goes slow with the molasses. I wanted to show you guys kind of what we're working with here. So we got that cream cheese, we got that molasses, we got that honey. It's going to be really good. Now this dessert is quite indulgent, so not something I would eat for breakfast, but maybe lunch and dinner a couple days of the week. You know, guys, remember, everything we're going through right now is really, really important. It may just seem like I'm talking about nothing to, you know, pass the time while I cook, but that's definitely not true. That looks really good. Guys, so we've got this. You know, this is an ashtray, but ashtrays actually really double well for the for cooking. So you know, cooking containers and holders. Just make sure you give it a light rinse if it's been used recently. Nothing too crazy. Just make sure you run some water through it first. There we go. All right, guys, gonna go ahead and get set up a little bit, and we'll get started. Okay, guys. So now we're gonna go ahead and start doing some more prep. That's some of our heaviest prep we're going to have to do. But so first thing that this recipe calls for is for the shortbread to be crushed up. Yeah. All right. Some people like to call these biscuits. That's not really actually correct. These are cookies. Whoever wrote the recipe must have been really confused. For those high-techy chefs out there, we also have what we in the business call a musher. So to mush things, you kind of just, I'll show you how this works. This is really neat. So you kind of take this and you just mush, you see that? And then they get mushed, and it's really good. So yeah, so you gotta kind of, oops, well, there that goes. We're kind of losing some of our stuff here, but that's okay. That's okay, just don't lose too much of it. So we just gotta keep on mushing here, people. Keep on mushing. Mush, 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 mush. Mushing, mushing, mushing. Now, Billy Idol actually covered the original Johnny Cash song about mushing shortbread. I'm not going to try to repeat it. You know, my specialty, you know, my artistic expertise is in cooking. But you guys should look that song up. It's gonna. I can't quite recall the title. I used to listen to it as a kid with my dad in the car. And you know, he would. Some of the lyrics were, I really like this shortbread mushing, and the mushing is good. So, yeah. You'd probably recognize it if you heard it on the radio. You probably also recognize Billy Idol, because I know who he is, and he's really, really good. Okay. All right. Mushing aside, we'll be right back. All right, guys, now we're making the base layer. This is kind of the cakey layer, so I've already got this butter melted for us, you know, for convenience. And so the only other things we're going to need right now are going to be our dark chocolate and the crushed cookies. So we'll go ahead and add that dark chocolate in. Hope that gets melted up nice and neat, which it looks like it's already just melting right away.
butter will kind of take care of getting this melted. You don't want it too hot. You definitely don't want to burn the butter. You don't want to burn the chocolate. And yeah, you just kind of keep that moving around. Try to keep that moving around as much as you can. Just make sure that, you know, it blends well and that, you know, you're not catching your chocolate on fire. Which chocolate does burn and become explosive at relatively low temperature. So this isn't a totally safe recipe to cook. If you got small children in the house, I'd recommend doing this at a friend's house. Probably a friend you don't care all that much about, but a friend nonetheless, you know. So I would recommend using a no-stick pan for this. I know some people prefer to get the pans that let everything stick to it. Kind of like the taste of that metal as they're eating, or the metallic flakes. I prefer anything that's got Teflon on it, you know, versatile taste. You got to cater to your audience. So even if you prefer Teflon cooked food, you know, say you're in New Zealand, or Chile is also known for preferring other surfaces to have their stuff cooked on. So that's just kind of an FYI from me. All right, guys. So now we're gonna put the cookies in there, and just kind of get those nice and mixed in with the chocolate. This is gonna be real good. It's gonna make a goopy looking thing, and it's real. This part's a real crowd pleaser. You see this? And this is just a real crowd pleaser. They love this stuff. Kind of flip it like pancakes too. That's kind of what I prefer. I know not everyone's the same in how they prefer to approach their art. You know, I wouldn't want to tell a Van Gogh to paint like a Da Vinci. I'd like a Van Gogh to paint like a Van Gogh. So don't let me influence you too much there. I do appreciate the imitation recipes and, you know, channels that have sprung up for you guys that really follow me and take a lot of your cooking lessons from me. But again, you kind of got to go your own way after a while, especially if you want to become an international cook like myself. I'd also like to give a shout out to every single one of my fans that's in Britain right now. Hey guys, how you doing? Or as you guys say there, top of the morning to ya. Huh. Yeah, so I visited there once. It was really nice. We're going to do about double the size of normal Gu Zillionaire cheesecakes. So, I'm going to come back up here for just a minute. All right. That's good. And so, ramekins. I've got 4 of these, so we're going to do 2 tablespoons in each. So, let's see. Alright guys, now we just put the base in the fridge for just a little while. And while we wait on that, we actually have a new sort of frontier to broach with this cheesecake layer. So I just want y'all to remember to be safe while you do this as well. But what we're going to be doing today with the cheesecake layer is beating it. Yeah. So I have a hand beater. I feel like it's a bit more sentimental. You can use an electric beater, but it's just not done with as much love. And people will taste that eventually. It's unrelated to the fact that I cannot find our electric beater. All right, so you just gotta kind of start beating that on up. Ooh, it's a little tough, you know? So you just kind of let that sit. Yep, cheesecake is the cheese is a tough customer, ain't it? Yeah, a bit tough when you don't have an electric beater. As would be the preference, but you know, we'll make do. Yeah. They should really make one that's double-handed so you can actually kind of get it apart when you're trying to whip cream cheese that hasn't been properly, you know, let out to dry. Which is interesting because we did let it heat for a while. So I'm gonna try and give you a little bit of a view of what I'm doing here, what I'm working with. Alright, so there's that. Alright, and you can kind of see how tough this consistency is. It really doesn't beat easily. You know, it wants you to fight for it, which is fine. Like I said, this is going to be cooked with a bit more love than you would with an electric beater. You know, I love cooking anyways. I just love it to death. So it's nice to know that my art is spreading the love by encouraging people to use, you know, hand tools for stuff that they're doing. Because, you know, in this day and age, I feel like people have a little bit too much of a little too much faith in the in technology. So in this So this is really good. You know, I'm really feeling the love with this stuff. Yeah, get a little bit of a hand cramp. That's how you know. That's how you know you're really killing it here and doing this with lots of care and love. I do this for the joy of it. No double entendre there, of course. I'm a very straightforward kind of person, so I don't want you to think that I'm sending some other kind of message that isn't intended or that isn't explicitly spoken, but is rather implied. That's what a double entendre is. So, yeah, we're going to finish beating this, and then I'll be right back. Okay, guys, we're just about done hand beating this. You know, honestly, like I reconsidered my comments earlier, and if you're using an electric beater for this, just turn my channel off. Just unsubscribe. I mean, that's kind of unacceptable for this kind of a project. It's a principle thing. So, if you opted to go the electric route, just go ahead and just go ahead and go. It's nice having you in the community, but this is for dedicated professionals, not for amateurs or people who are going to disrespect the culinary arts in front of me, especially. I wouldn't spend all my time cooking and honing my reputation as a celebrity chef if I didn't really truly care about what I was doing. All right, so got these beaters and we got our cheesecake. Doesn't that look good? So, anyway, put those beaters away for now, or for good, you know, because we don't need them anymore. While we leave that cheesecake out to sit, we're actually going to, now it calls for caramel. For one caramel layer, we're going to do a tiny little layer of caramel on the base and then on the cheesecake too, because that's just a good way to do it, you know? So, let's go ahead and spoon this stuff in there. Oops. Caramel is just so good anyways. So we'll go ahead and take some of this caramel. We're going to spread it over our base. Here we go. See this? That's our base. Salted caramel is what this is. Don't get the unsalted caramel. Unsalted caramel is actually a lot less healthy anyways. So, you know, usually if you're going to make something with caramel, you want to add a good bit of salt. Now, the specific recipe I'm using, this is actually this isn't a home recipe, but this is a this was actually made by one of our good friends, Mike. Shout out to Mike too. I'll mention him in the description below as well. And guys, please check that out. You know, people that sponsor us and send us the good stuff, they're really a really big part of this show, and they spend a lot of time. So Mike actually whipped this salted caramel up for us. So basically, how you make that is, yeah. So it's about he has a secret recipe for caramel, which I don't know. I would kill for it, but it's essentially, in terms of proportions, you've got about 2/3 caramel and then 1/3 salt. 1/3 salt. To me, it's generally a bit undersalted, but Mike's caramel makes it work. He just does a wonderful job with it. If you're making it from home, you know, unless you are Mike or you got Mike's recipe, I might do half salt, half caramel. That's about perfect. All right, guys, we're gonna put these back to chill for just a little bit. Now we're moving on to the chocolate ganache layer, or ganache, as we say. Ganache is the proper pronunciation. But anyway, so this is going to be a fairly smaller ordeal. So we're just going to use our little pot. It's got a technical name, but I don't want to get bogged down in those kinds of details. You know, we would if you were attending one of my classes, which tickets are still available. We're still on our world tour. Just FYI, again, in the description below. You know. We would cover that kind of stuff there, because at the end of the day, you can cook without it, but it's good to know the technical terms, especially if you're trying to really impress for some world famous restaurants. You got to know your terms. I mean, that's really important here. So, anyways, we're gonna let see our heavy cream here. Now we're gonna go ahead and pour that in. We're gonna dump it on in, and we just need to let that simmer. That's what we got to do with it. Just want this chocolate and this cream to kind of simmer together. And you know, if you under simmer it, that's okay. You can just dump it all back into the bowl. Kind of let that keep heating up a little bit. in case you screwed it up, which I did not. You know, I actually pre-mixed these, you know, it's a small technique that I use. It's a little bit of a change up. I didn't want to cover it today because really I want you guys to succeed, and I don't want you to get bogged down in the details. Some of the more technical stuff, you know, is really just, like I said, it's a preference. If you guys want to check out my other videos, which are linked below, you can see why I do it this way. You know, again, this is enough. Of course, you know, everything's so political these days. This is something that some people are going to heavily disagree with, and that's fine. We can disagree. We can definitely disagree. So that's, you know, that's never a problem for me. I'm pretty apolitical myself. I don't like talking about politics at all. I actually hate talking about politics. You won't hear me open my mouth about it except to say I hate politics. All right. That's looking a bit more hot. That's looking pretty good. Let's see how the little bit of chocolate left in here feels about that. Is that hot enough for you? Huh? Huh? Huh, you bastards? Huh? Is that right? Now time to add our espresso and our pinch of salt. Generous pinch of salt. Don't forget that. I kind of added that in here myself, but you guys are free to use that. I haven't trademarked that. You know, it just, the espresso goes real nice in here. It just is lovely with the milk and the chocolate and all that. Now we're getting close to the end. Alright, so now we've been letting our little guys in there cool. See this? See these two? Been letting those kind of cool off. I'll let you see this too. So, been letting those cool up, but now it's actually time to add our cheesecake layer. Time to finish this product right on up. Podbert cooking with Podbert, TMR, respectively. Alright, so we're going to get these back on out of the fridge. Yep, yes we are. We're going to get those back on out of the fridge. Alright, give our little ganache a bit more of a stir. You don't want it to set too much, or you don't want it to set at all, but you do want it to cool down a bit and take on a little bit better of a form. That's what you're really looking for. We're probably right about there. So, as promised, for you caramaholics out there, we are going to put another layer of caramel, a small layer of caramel on this, and then add the ganache. And it should be great. It should be fantastic, maybe. Alright. Got our spoons, our measuring spoons. Alright. We'll just go ahead and do another tablespoon. Alright, and I'll kind of try to show you guys what I'm doing here. Alright, so we're putting the caramel on these. Let's go front and center. Front and center, private. It's kind of like a boot camp for the food, you know. Got to really whip them into shape. Even though I already whipped these together. Get it? Get it? It's an army pun. Alright, anyways. Let's go ahead and just put that in there. Now let's go ahead and get on with this ganache. Okay guys, so go on, take a good look at this ganache. See that? See that there? Yeah. That's good stuff. So, let's go ahead, put this ganache on there. Yummy. Oh yes, look at that. I'll let you look at that. That's good stuff right there. So we're going to use a couple tablespoons per dish. So we'll come on back up here and take a look at what we got. So here we go. Look at that. Gu Zillionaire imitation cheesecake snack dessert thing. See that? We got 4 of these. Look at that. Now would you just look at that. Alright guys, we're going to let these sit in the fridge again for, we'll probably let them sit overnight. No, we'll come back to them in the morning. It's going to be great, except for the cheesecake part. Ooh, wait, almost forgot. We gotta decorate, don't we? Now, we have these waffle sticks. You see that? So, what we're gonna do with these is just kind of stick them right in there, okay? So, kind of want them just sticking out right there. That should be good. See that? Those will be good. All right. Just let that sand right up in there, and it'll just kind of set around that, okay? All right, boop. You know, this is sort of my... Now here I'm definitely using a bit of my creative license, just to let you guys know. Yes, I am fully certified to have the, I have the full Class C creative license. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. I know some of y'all have asked me, you know, if it's worth getting, if it's something that you should start working towards, if I think it's possible for you to get it. And for most of you, I'd probably say no. But there are a couple out there that I think are actually master artisan, master chef material. So, got these balls. I know the Gu Zillionaire original takes usually takes gold. So what we're gonna do, we didn't have gold balls. Sorry. There's actually a supply shortage of that in the United States. That kind of stuff gets shipped in from Colombia. And Colombia's in a bit of a civil war right now, so we don't really have access to it, but we do have the next best thing. We have some India Tree Star Gold Sparkling Sugar. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and just start to sprinkle some of this on. Now, this is to be expected with the chocolate ganache layer, but as you can see, some of it's kind of sinking down in there. And that's okay. That's totally fine. We actually meant to do that. Kind of gives it that uneven, almost natural appearance, which people just go crazy for. I mean, it looks like you just picked this right off of a flower. I'll show you guys how these are looking now. See that? Yeah, these are looking great. They're looking exactly, almost exactly like the real thing. Okay. There we go. See, we're doing these now. Boop, 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 boop. Great, great, great. as I said, now that we're done doing our decorations, look what we got. We've got a Gu Zillionaire thing. It's really good. And they're not quite set yet, so probably shouldn't have tilted it like that. But it'll live. It'll survive. All right, guys. All right, guys. All right, guys. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. All right, guys.
All right, guys.